because you have a big presence there, specifically in Soho, and I'm curious what you make of how the real estate landscape, particularly on the commercial side, might change under Mamdani.
Well, there's great trepidation. Mamdani, my personal opinion is, I don't know that the general population really wanted him necessarily, but I feel like the sun, the moon, and the stars came together for him. You had a rank voting system, people looking for change, looking for answers, sweating affordability and housing, and he happened to be the one, wear a nice tie, have a nice smile, and happen to be the guy the sun, the moon, and stars came together for. But I think at the end of the day, his policies would hurt more his constituents. When you say you don't want to allow new housing or that you want to freeze rents on housing, which will drive developers away from the market and away from developing, it actually causes the rents to go higher. More product, more development, more supply is actually what brings things down. Florida is actually the opposite. Florida is bringing so much free market, so much development, that there you're starting to see rental rates come down, housing prices come down. So his message is really the opposite of what you want. The big question for us all is what happens in Cuomo versus Eric Adams. Eric has the black community, has a strong showing in the Latin community. He's got strong showing in the business community. A lot of young folks following him. And Cuomo, we thought was going to be the guy, but to be candid, that was a serious, serious loss. Yeah. He spent enormous amount of money. As I say, he really didn't do what Mamdani did. Mamdani rolled up his sleeves and got to the people. What Cuomo did was, I joked, I said it was like the Israeli Air Force in Iran. He thought he was going to just carpet bomb New York from 30,000 feet up in the air, as opposed to rolling up his sleeves and getting out to the community. So
we're hearing, for example, SL Green's Mark Holliday is now backing Eric Adams. Are you throwing your hat in that ring as well? I mean,
you know, I'm a political registered independent. I want what's right for New York City.
Well, Eric Adams is running as an independent.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. So he finally came along into my party. Right now, I favor very highly Eric Adams over everybody else. I think the city is actually not bad. You know, people say change, change, change. You know what? I don't know that New York City needs change. I think we need more of where we've been heading. I mean, think about it. Think of what you just spoke about. Housing sales going up, more jobs, more excitement. So I think that he's got the solution, but like I said, I like Andrew Cuomo a lot. He's a nice guy. I just don't think this is his race. He's very smart, very intelligent. I really think that Eric Adams has the best shot at going head-to-head with Mamdani if he can get Cuomo to sort of throw his hat in the ring with Eric. And I think the city will be better for it. I think each and every one of them will be better for it. The real question is, if Mamdani does win, does he bend a little bit? Right now, his messages is so hard left because he's figuring, I can't turn off that constituent that won me that rank election. Right. So that's what's scaring people. Not even an ability yet to have a dialogue to know, does he swing back a little bit to the middle? So far, based upon that lack of flexibility, I say Eric is the answer. It's going to be a struggle, but if he learns from Cuomo's carpet bomb campaign and instead go hand-to-hand tactics in the neighborhoods, touch the people, touch the communities, he's got a chance to reverse his weak position currently.
Well, we only have a couple months to wait to find out. Let's talk specifically about the real estate landscape and bring that conversation there, because there have been some larger retail and office purchases in Soho, especially in the past year. And I'd love to hear your sense of where that demand is coming from and whether that's a sign of things to come as well.
A lot of it is coming from other markets that are successful looking for bargains, particularly Middle Eastern investors. Middle East right now is booming. You know, one of the things I joked with you before the segment, I'd given you guys a rare pitch for a story. Normally, I come on when you guys are looking for answers to solutions from yourselves, and I had said Dubai. And at the time, Bloomberg team really didn't see it. Maybe it's a flash in the past. It's real. What's going on in the Middle East, the renaissance, the boom is incredible. That money that's flowing from New York is really as a result of that. Middle East right now, for me, is the most exciting story in the world. First, in terms of the Arab communities, or we'll say the GCC, they want to modernize. You know, for so many years, you have two worlds going in different directions. As I call it, we're in a world of transition. First, you've got the Thucydides trap, I call it, America and China conflict. Then you have the global South versus the Western world. And then what you have in the United States, culturally, you have a country that's moving from, I'll call it, more liberal to more conservative, more Bible sold than probably at any time in the history of the country. And then you have the opposite in the Middle East. You have a culture that maybe had a lot of zealots that all of a sudden the leadership wants to modernize. They realized that if you went back 500 years, the Arabs, the Mohammedans, they were great mathematicians from 500 years ago to 2,000 years ago, bright culture, and maybe they overdid the religion, and now they're being flexible, open-minded, whether it's food, drink, culture, restaurants, gambling, hospitality. They're so much more open. And so they're open to business. And now the final linchpin is really Israel and potential for peace. You know, everybody said over the last few months, you know, it's over, Israel's over, the Middle East is too much risk because of Iran. I say the opposite. Iran made a horrible mistake by launching an attack by each of their proxies one by one, Hamas, Hezbollah, Syria, Iraq, etc. They actually allowed for the Israeli Air Force and Army to actually win that battle, and the United States in finale. And now the result of all that means the existential threat for the entire region, at least for the next few decades, is gone. So whether you're Middle East Arab cultures or whether you're talking Israel, a country with 45% of the population under 24.
But do you want to invest then? I mean, I get the Middle East and Dubai, Abu Dhabi, even Israel. Do you want to invest in Gaza, as President Trump has suggested? Is that even on the horizon, considering the destruction that's been done there?
You know, that one has political ramifications. I think Israel is an amazing Renaissance story in everything. You look at food and culture being exported everywhere. Everybody likes the Middle Eastern restaurant, so to speak. You look at their finance stock prices, their consumer business sales. And as a result of the war now, you see military tech. They're going to be the go-to country for the new way that wars are going to be fought. They're going to be fought with AI, being fought with drones, different types of advancements that only they have the experience for. And of course, they've been sort of, to my mind, leaders in green, because culturally they're more left and wanting to so focus on making the whole world a better place. They're green focused, so to speak. So for example, ourselves, we're an investor. I know one of the things you guys had asked me just before, somebody asked me here, have you invested in Israel lately? What excites you? So there's a company we mentioned before, it's called Electrion. Basically, it electrifies the highways wirelessly, and also even potential for carpet charging. Let's say you have your house, instead of dealing with wires and plugging in, etc. And if the world's moving as we see it is to an autonomous world and even a robotic world, you're going to need wireless charging, because if there's no driver in the Uber, if there's no driver in the car, how are you going to recharge that car, that battery? So Israel is one country, this company Electrion has that solution. So just one example of so many in the country of Israel, in the Middle East region in general, of things that excite me.